Welcome everybody, right into the gameplay we go for Legacy versus Murdr Inc. with round number 1 kicking off. Whoa, that is a strange bug that we're having there. Let's see if we can solve those tech issues quickly. I'm not sure how that's happened. Oh, do apologize for those tech hiccups, but seems we have sorted out the issues. A very strange one, but again, everything is in order. Stream should be good. I should be able to get us back over to the action where we have had some explosions unfold. Snakebites caught in one, pushing up through the APC. No time for an introduction here this afternoon. Both of these teams ready to jump into the gameplay right away. Legacy and Murdr Inc. We'll talk more about them both. You can see who's out there on the battlefield, though, right now. And right now, Murdr Inc. are down to 4. Legacy with that early advantage and APC side cleared out. Otherwise, Murdr Inc. pretty tucked into standard defensive positions. So see a good back and forth here with Murdr Inc. playing seemingly pretty good so far this season. Legacy also doing quite well recently, winning up against Blaze, albeit the scoreline tied 9-9 at the end of the series. They still did take that victory. So both teams coming in here looking to play well, and Cat's going to kick off things for Murdr Inc. with the first kill. Puts down a very wide rotation. On the stairs, we have a battle unfold. Pyro takes some damage. Both players getting hit, having to heal. And Pyro continuing to rotate around Mayhow. It's on this bottom floor. Serenity finds one on the outside as a good smoke comes in here to deny Serenity vision. Snakebite tosses that one well. It's quickly redirected, so Snakebite's not going to be able to utilize that one for very long. They are going to instead challenge off of that knowledge that that smoke was redirected. Mayhow finds the kill finally inside the 2-story. And it's a 2v2 very quickly. Make it a 1v1. Rocky all alone on the other side here, checking the tablet. Should be aware of this. Very well could be crashing into that objective position, which is way over at that house garage right now, quite a bit away from it. But Snakebite also very much out in the open. If Rocky IDs them on the street, it's going to be game over. And Murdr Inc. starts things off with a round 1 win on defense. See if all of this other stuff's working. All right. No tech issues here. Everything looks perfectly fine. No green screen problems. We are also going to roll out the pick bands for the afternoon so you guys can see those. From Legacy, we have a Bizarre band. And from Murdr Inc., we have an Abandoned band. So very different goals and objectives there in terms of clearing out the map space. Our first map, obviously, kicking us off on some close quarters action on Suburbia, and this is why you always got to stick around for the pre-show, because sometimes right as the intro ends, we go straight into the action. Okay, so it's a rarity, but it does happen. And one more tech issue that is left to be solved. There it is. Oh, there it isn't. There it is. Not the start that I'm sure Sickness, the team captain for Legacy, was looking for his team, and Murdr Inc. certainly do hang on to that defensive round by the skin of their teeth. We'll have to see how the series unfolds, because that if that is any indicator of how close this is going to be, I'm very excited to see what we get here this afternoon. And a certain interesting story to be told here. If Murdr Inc. can come out the gate with some good strategy and plans as we get into round 2. With these two teams, you know, Legacy has the experience. They've pushed up into the Diamond division as of last season. They have 2 seasons under their belt as a team. This season really could be Legacy's time to shine as a team. And Murdr Inc. are currently silver, or at least ended last season silver, new as of season 12. But they've been playing well so far. Was that smoke? I don't think had the pin pulled or was redirected. But they've been playing well so far this season, which has earned them this opportunity to go up against a team like Legacy. And so, if anything, it's very impressive for them to manage to take that first round up against this squad. And they're seemingly very focused and taking their time here as they work their way up through Suburbia in round 2 on the attack. Legacy obviously do kick things off with a nice pickup right away, so very much at an early disadvantage, and the entire Legacy defense very passive here, waiting on that backside of the front yard of the objective building. Go's going to try to work their way up to Mayhow. But Mayhow is very much dialed in on a very tight corner position. They're also looking through the bushes to see if they see any shift in color palette there. I don't know if they can ID that. And Sickness does go down quickly. Could be an opportunity for Mayhow to pump rounds through the bush and catch Serenity out, but Mayhow didn't quite see that. Maybe they weren't quite peaked up high enough. Either way, Rico was getting closer and closer to finding the shots on Mayhow. Murdr Inc. maybe able to turn this into a 3v3.
2 down.
And that's a big pickup because it opens up access from this 2-story down into the defense. Shots can come in down to Maverick, but those won't be necessary. Pyro gets rid of Snakebite. And Murdr Inc. find all 3 alive in a flash. Top story drops, bottom floor is dead, and the edge gets scooped up at Burning Building. It is a 2-0 lead right now for this Murdr Inc. squad. And they're playing focused. I mean, this is Legacy's map pick. We're coming out here with Legacy off of a win up against Blaze. Blaze, a team that's been around in this league for a very long time. A lot of experience there. So impressive that they did manage to take that win. And I mean, this is the golden start for Murdr Inc. They really couldn't have asked for a better start outside of a cap to kick off their Marsoc round. But now they're up 2-0 against Legacy. I said this could be Legacy's season. Maybe it's Murdr Inc.'s. So early on in season 13 that it really is anybody's season still. Especially in these early weeks, these wins can be big. They can really set you up for a productive and efficient and effective rest of the season. And because the season is not a sprint. These first few weeks kind of feel like it. But once you get past, week 4 or 5, you're into the marathon of regular season where you really have to start getting consistent. So right now it's kind of a guessing game as to who is going to come out on top truly. Really hard to determine. Oh, I didn't play the band. Apologies. But that is the excitement of the early weeks. And so far, Murdr Inc. outperforming what I anticipated here this afternoon.
And I'm not going to pre-fire this time because I don't want to
see
give
if
it a
Legacy
spawn.
can
Let me get
lock
one.
things back up. Refocus and collect themselves a Marsoc round. An opportunity to secure a cap on this burning building. I do wonder if that's anywhere in the plan for a Legacy. Thickness getting aggressive out the spawn. They're going to be right at the back of this building, listening in for any sort of defensive movement. They very well may have gotten here in time that it's undetected. No, it seems Pyro or someone did hear the footsteps on the backside of Playground. Sickness advancing very early. Standard for the legacy strategy. While the rest of the team sits back and will eventually, in an ideal world, collapse once Sickness really determines what they can of that objective space, or once Sickness causes some commotion. Rico, though, with a very odd peek, does decide to take a little gander around the APC. Oftentimes APC is locked in on this side, but because there was no real threat there, Snakebite, wow, with a great nade, gets it under the APC. Rico's body is not where it is on our screen, where it is on Snakebite's screen. So Snakebite was actually able to confirm that kill. Maverick picks up another one on the edge. Sickness is going to get the res. And again, bodies are strange in this game. Sickness pops back up on the other side of the Hesco, and this very well could be Legacy's round. They're obviously looking for a cap here, but this is going to be a very tough cap to lock in. Not going to be easy for Sickness to sneak through here, especially with Serenity dialed in on the stairs. There's just not going to be that option for Sickness to get up here undetected. Maybe with a flash, things could go their way, but not anymore. Serenity does catch that kill. The flash goes off. Pyro's still tucked in bottom floor. I don't think I've seen this position before as they patiently wait for someone to push in. Snakebite does see it, though. Catches that kill. Serenity takes shots, and Snakebite knows that position. Flies up top. Cat is tucked in, and there's a chance for a cap opportunity here as they fly around. Cat, Snakebite going around the shoulder.
Got him.
Takes the kill, and Legacy, or maybe warmed up a little bit. 3 rounds in, they've managed to finally put a solid round up on the board. Snakebite 7 and 2. Big plays from Snakebite there with a nade to kick things off and get the res, and then push in for a couple of kills. Quite a round. Appreciate you fine folks stopping in for the early action here this afternoon. Skateboard, I guess late action, but right for the early round. Skateboard Jake, PC Jake crew. I got a couple of Jakes. How many more Jakes do we got in chat? Shout out to all the Jakes in chat, because there's apparently more than one. Love to see it. Love to see it. You know, back in my day, I had a good neighborhood friend named Jake, an absolutely fantastic baseball player. Really knew how to connect with the bat. Just practicing for my eventual baseball announcing career. You can really ham up the between round commentary with the baseball. And they have comedians do commentary while games are live. Maybe we should start doing that. I don't know. We'll vote on it. Very well. Back into the action we go. Round number 4. There's your KD feed again. Snakebite 7 and 2. With the res.
Just like they did y'all. Expected.
And Murdr Inc. with that early 2-0 lead are now back on the attack. Looking to add another point to that, but see if Legacy can even the odds here, even the score line with a good defensive hold, or maybe an aggressive one. As that flash comes up and over, does blind Cat, but it doesn't catch Rocky. Rocky is there to support that quick push from Snakebite, and that's why you push up as a team. Can't flash everybody. Cat certainly was flashed, but Rocky did not get connected with that first one. The second flash went, but it was a bit too late. Now, though, into a 4v5, and quite the start for Murdr Inc. Oh, what a smoke. Can I get the next one? No, he misses the one that they actually needs to hit. Throws the smoke into the window, great, but the nade doesn't quite connect, and Mayhow, after hearing and seeing those nades come in, does find that kill. Confirm it full, and Remainder of Murdr Inc. are positioning themselves on the outer edge of objective space.
You're too tall.
But everyone from Legacy very tucked in and waiting for the advance into the objective space. It's all just a matter of time. See if Pyro can connect up with the rest of the team, though, because they are getting very close. Cat in particular, ready to enter in through the hallway with Mad Scientist patiently waiting.
One out.
Echo
Solid
3.
connection there from Scientist. Murder down to 3, but not quite out of this yet. They are still positioned well. It's just a matter of applying the pressure at the same time. Serenity catches Mayhow with a very nice angle around the shrubs. Opens up that bottom floor a little bit more. Rico trying to get some utility and some nades inside the window, but can't connect. A team kill comes in from Pyrobone in the chaos, not aware that Serenity was pushing the doorway. Was aware of Rico's position, but oh, a big unfortunate team kill in the heat of the moment. Sometimes hardest to identify your opponent. Rico and team are going to reconnect here. We'll see what this duo is going to strategize. If they're going to strategize, it seems they're just going to swap spots. Pyro's going to say, my turn to go in. Maverick shuts that down.
One.
Echo 1.
Now Rico finds themselves alone. Very carefully and slowly clearing out the 2-story, but no one will be home here. Very stacked objective defense is what we're looking at here, with all 3 inside that objective building, and you'll maybe be able to find a kill or 2. Lots of time, 2.5 left. Getting up here into the 2nd story, going to give them some good lines out of these windows over into where there are a few Legacy defenders, albeit I'm sure they're not going to be peeking and poking themselves out of these windows very much. They do, though. Rico's got a good line.
To move back to where you were. And watch the original angle.
Gotcha.
You can see, though, Maverick
Low,
and
low,
Sickness are essentially lined up in a position that they are denying themselves from being seen by that 2-story by just avoiding the windows. Very strategical positioning, but it puts them
140.
in spots where they can effectively defend the objective and avoid getting tagged from the exact move that Rico is trying to do right now. Trying to look through those windows. Spots Mad Scientist, connects with that. Still, though, clock is ticking, minute 19 left. And again, as long as Maverick and Sickness don't peek, Rico's not going to ID anything until they push the objective space. They are aware of their time constraints. The clock ticking down, and Rico knows the time. We saw them check their wristwatch.
Here it comes.
Ooh, and Maverick heard those footsteps outside. The C4 doesn't catch Rico. Comes down, the flash doesn't connect. Sickness doesn't have a line down out this window. And Rico is going to have to push up. 10 seconds left. Flashlight on the corner. Sickness
Nice.
Fucking let's go.
finds the kill, and the flashlight actually drew a couple of shots, enough to get Sickness a little extra time to take those shots, albeit they had 2 guns barreling down on there, and I think even the upper floor was the second defender was shooting regardless of if they saw anybody, just so that, because they knew with 8 seconds left that if they just put rounds out, they were gonna have to go up into the rounds or win on time. An interesting little tidbit there if you didn't see that, but a solid defensive hold and, well, a nice attempt from the Murdr Inc. squad on offense, but they couldn't quite break through the shell of Legacy. And yeah, again, I wonder if Legacy has warmed up now as they get themselves another point and tie this back up to a piece. Like I said, it's not what I expected out of the scoreline. I very much anticipated Legacy here to be leading and frankly taking the series. I think that's where the stats would tell you the game is going to end, but it's week 3. You don't necessarily know how teams have prepared in the offseason, what sort of changes they've made that could completely change the dynamic of a squad or put them at a different level than they really currently are. And Murdr Inc. definitely came into this series with these first 2 rounds that they secured very focused. It just seemed like a bit more, almost surprisingly, a more disciplined team than Legacy, which is not what I anticipated when we jumped into this. And I don't think Legacy necessarily did either, but we're now back to even. We're over to the north. Much more defensible objectives, so we very well could be going back to trading Volk rounds. That would end up working for Murdr Inc. Of course, it depends on where that next objective is. But regardless, an opportunity for them to get back on the board here. Turn things around for them, because right now Legacy are running away with some momentum.
Oh, okay. Perfect. This is my spot. I was trying to remember which side this was. Okay.
A little suppressive fire coming out. You can see C4 in the hand. Both Pyro and Rico getting deployed on fence here. Gonna be tough to defuse. And very likely that Rocky will be listening for audio cues. As will Pyro. And I like that C4 placement. I really do. I don't think I've really ever seen... Wow, this is kind of... C4 does get taken on Suburbia. But not that often. For there to be double C4 placements, it's certainly interesting. I suppose it does get taken at a higher level. Maybe it's just been a while since I've tuned into a Diamond tier matchup. But for Murdr Inc. to be deploying that, certainly a solid investment that could very well pay dividends and limit their exposure. If they're detonated at the right time, of course. I think we heard one C4 get triggered there a little too early. Snakebite on the edge here. Otherwise fumbling around with their controllers. Should be continuing their move around the side. They're not going to find much, though. 3 stacked up across the street. Cat watching the Flame 4 and Serenity doesn't even really have much vision, if any, down onto that side, so... What kill was that for Sickness? Oh, he caught one underneath the shrubs. Wow, what a interesting angle there. A good start. Puts Legacy up into a 5v4. And still have one C4 available. Like I said, that other one detonated already. Smokes are coming in down on Snakebite's lane. And with no real coverage along this street, it's essentially a free cross. Finally, Pyro peeks out. Rico goes down because the trio has managed to cross too far, and they have an angle into that patio. But a huge pickup from Pyro on the other side of Red Truck. They don't know there's another there. They didn't know that Maverick was up. Maverick and Mayhow over here being a big threat to that objective space, and now the smokes are coming in. Sickness deploying their own. We're going to go on board Sickness, who gets punched by Serenity through the smoke. Big pickups from Serenity now as she evens the odds here. 2v2 now. Oh, that's a good nade, too. Out towards Mad Scientist. Does it catch them? No. Late deployment. Late detonation, excuse me. And Serenity does get picked up by Scientist. Rocky now alone in a 1v2, but it is a 1v2. Very well could clutch this up as they see Mayhow. Shots come in and did connect. Down they go. Mad Scientist trying to capitalize on the commotion, pushing off of the chaos, utilizing the smokes as they just dissipate away to get to the other side of the street. Rocky clearing out the objective, making sure nobody's capping it, and Mad Scientist unlikely to expect the rotation here from Rocky, and as I say that, they redirect their attention there. Can't afford to get tagged by bullets through the fence either. That's going to be a no-go, but they find the kill. Legacy string 3 together in a row, but it comes down to a 1v1. See a few more folks stopping in under the chat. Appreciate you. Turned on. Chimichunga. Ducky. Welcome, welcome. Quite an exciting match. Pace pretty quick. Kind of cruising through these rounds. Not necessarily going down to the final moments, although that's not true because we have had a full 6-minute round already. But 2.5 left on the clock there off of round 5, and Legacy are certainly setting a bit of a quick pace, at least on their Marsoc pushes, not wasting any time to get over and really trying to, I think, use aggression and experience combined. You know, one thing we've sort of seen, especially with so many new teams coming into the league, in these early moments of the season where new teams do get the opportunity to go up against teams that maybe have been around for a season or two. You see that experience coming into play where they can play aggressively as a team and overwhelm the, maybe not lack of coordination, but the lack of coordination between a team that hasn't been playing for as long. They have less coordination, and so they're able to capitalize on that knowledge and really play this aggressive style that we do see. And I just don't think that Legacy was going with that in these early rounds, and now Murdr Inc. have had a tough time kind of pushing back against it. Again, they've won a Marsoc round already, so it's not out of the question here, but it is certainly a challenging objective to secure a Marsoc round on. So I'm interested to see how Murdr do approach this. And looks like we did have a brief tech pause there, but should be into round 6 shortly. Murdr Inc. now on the attack, backs against the wall. Map 1 could go into the hands of the home team that picked it. Legacy, this round does not go their way. Some early pre-fire, that doesn't do much, but maybe shakes up the pace of this defense. Snakebite certainly looking to get aggressive with some early flashes up and over the hedges. Rico trying to skirt the edges here to avoid those potential flashes and nades, and pretty much will is get all the way to the outside here, and they could get an opportunity to shoot towards Snakebite's position. I don't even think Rico is looking down that side. Sandbags does provide a bit of cover. Snakebite not tunnel vision that much, and they do find the kill. The gunshots do indicate to Pyro that there's someone here, though. Pyro's gonna try and toss a flash that goes a bit too far. Not quite around the corner tight enough, and Snakebite pops up for a kill. Maverick scoops up another. Sickness flies the corner. And Serenity is alone in a 1v5. a very tall order as that flash does come in. Catches Serenity out. The C4 deployment from Sickness. A very solid play there from Legacy, and again, Legacy really seemed to warm up after losing those first 2 rounds. I don't know what the pep talk was in the tent, but it definitely got them refocused, because that was what I was expecting to see from Legacy. Again, their map pick, so obviously their space they're most comfortable in. Map 2 looking to be Downfall. This being Murdr Inc.'s choice. We'll see how it plays out for them. But one thing that could potentially work again for a team like Legacy is that experience, you know, especially on a map like Downfall. You know, the more map knowledge you have here, the more potential routes you have in your back pocket in terms of how to get to objectives undetected. There is a lot of them. And Sickness, in particular, as a player, from my experience watching them play for almost 10 seasons, they really do like to try and sneak in the caps. It's not even, I don't think, much of a secret these days amongst the community. But if Murdr Inc. aren't ready for that kind of fast capped strategy where you almost just try and go through the defense and stay quiet, then there very well could be a couple of caps in the pockets of Legacy here. So same goes for Murdr Inc., of course. They could be deploying some new strategies that they're bringing with some fresher eyes to the space, but again, it's not that fresh. They have been playing in at least season 12. Albeit, I'm not sure how many rounds that. Look. 6 games in season 12, so not exactly a bevy of experience to be pulling from here. Still, in my eyes, a relatively fresh team to this league, because we do have teams like Legacy that have players like Sickness who have been in this league since season 2, albeit off and on and across a variety of teams. But still, Legacy has been around since season 11, and I really do think that, you know, what I said at the start of the round, I've instantly got, I guess, quote-unquote proven wrong, but those last 4 rounds, to me, are an indicator that this could be, you know, a very good season for Legacy, and that we very much, we might want to keep an eye on this squad, because really 2 seasons of development time, playing that well in season 12 to get up into the diamond, I mean, you're essentially perfectly positioning your squad to be a contender for season 13 and forward. So that has been, I think, the goal for Sickness ever since their departure from SMC Tactical. And well, maybe they finally put together a squad that can get up into that top 10. Now, I don't want to jinx anything. It's too late for that, but Downfall, map 2, here we go. Legacy on the defense, Murdr Inc. on offense, and again, Murdr Inc. managing to take 2 rounds from Legacy, a surprise, and they did it well. They can just kind of tap into that coordination that they found in those first 2 rounds on Suburbia. Maybe that they can get some advantage here on their map choice. Of course, are they going to be ready for Snakebite as Snakebite? Going to be ready for Rocky and Pyro here in the alley, and doesn't seem like it. Rocky and Pyro connect. Pyro's going to be the one that finds that kill at the end of the day, but opens up the south push for them, and already in a very dangerous position to be on this objective. Smoke's coming in fast as well. Rocky not able to get up onto that top story A lot of eyes trained in there, although Pyro may find an opportunity to work their way up along the main street relatively uncontested.
That's
Nice
two
pick
down.
up there from Sickness over the top. Pyro confirming their second kill.
Y'all push in. Start throwing smoke over here.
Call out comes, and Cat and Serenity advance their way down the main hill to the objective space. Mad Scientist thinking about peeking the corner. Could be another kill for Pyro, and it
There's
is.
another one down. There's 3 down. Push up.
This is a cap chance here for this offense. Mayhow gets scooped up. Pyro is absolutely shooting out of their mind right now as Maverick gets one.
He's
They're
over
on a
here by the
big
hotel.
rotation to the objective. This could be an easy cap if Serenity pushes in from the bottom floor. And maybe they know that now. As Maverick flies, almost gets a double. That could have been bad news. Lucky Pyro finds the final kill. Actually, Serenity traded there. No, Pyro got the kill. Serenity was bait. I think that was all 5 for Pyro. Yeah, Pyro with the ace on the round. So put it on their back and pat it, because they absolutely carried that one to a victory. Serenity last round was the kill leader, and it's good to see Pyro stand out here in this round and, I mean, absolutely swing the momentum back into a neutral state here. Their map pick maybe even in the Murdr Inc.'s favor. I say that, though, with a bit of skepticism because none of the other teammates did connect, and finding kills is a big motivator in a game like Onward. If you can go through a couple of rounds without doing anything, it's the worst, because you're also then sitting in tent after dying, waiting for your chance to do something next round. And then if you fail that next round, if you fail multiple rounds in a game like Onward, I think it's probably one of the harder games to mentally stay locked in for, to not tilt. It is a very big challenge in a game like Onward if you end up, again, not finding kills and having a bad go about it. To that same extent, you can easily swing things back into your favor. You can be 0-5 and simply and quickly be 5-5, like we see right now. Pyro being 5-0, and so it really does demand your focus at all times, which can be a challenge. We'll have to see if Legacy can stay locked in after scooping up a quick 4. And they do want to bump over to Legacy because we did see them spawn in prone after they got the spawn that didn't require that. They stood up, but they're here at the same spawn that Murdr Inc. had, and this is a pretty quick spawn here, an opportunity for Legacy to be challenging down on this objective right away. But I don't know if that's what they're going to be doing. I wonder if they're instead going to go for a bit more of a conservative play, a bit more reserved, wait out the time limit here a little bit. Maybe try and find a pick as Snakebite comes flying up, connects onto Rocky. Down they go for getting very aggressive, trying to push up with smoke cover, but couldn't get there in time.
Center Hotel.
Oh, and Snake isn't going to see Rico up there. If Snake does swing back, though, maybe they'll ID Rico up on top. You can see him pretty clearly, even without the name tag and outline. And as I say that, Rico ducks down into cover. Now, Rico's spot's nice. They have a good vision over onto the north. They're completely covered. And they can deny moves like that from the Sickness.
They're in blue 1.
Hey, yeah.
Fortunate that Rico did get up here undetected, but they are here. And it does raise the question, where's the rest of the defense, right? There's been one downed. You see Rico up top. I see 3 here on objective. Cat's tucked in across the street. Pyro on the bottom floor here. Cat specifically positioned to try and shut down Mayhow from pushing up onto this edge, but now Mayhow able to suppress Cat into the corner. Trying to grab an elbow, but can't quite find Purchase there. A very dangerous game that they're playing here, and Cat's actually going to be the one to come out on top as Mayhow goes down on the corner. Another pickup, though. Rico down on the roof. So it is up to just the trio here, albeit a 3v3, so same goes for Legacy. We'll have to see how they coordinate. Have an opportunity to go right up the middle and essentially challenge Serenity and without very much support at all. That, of course, is a risky route to take, especially if you don't have an accurate kill count, and I'm quite sure if Legacy know the kills that they have.
Copy that. I'm at center bungalow. I have no movement whatsoever from my angle.
Maverick charged with identifying anybody inside objective building, aka dumpster building, but not spotting any movement, as that defense is staying tucked in and waiting for the push to come to them. Serenity very much going to wait for audio cues in this corner. I wonder if there is a C4 somewhere out here. There's got to be, as they have a clacker in hand, and there it is. Really nice to see Murdr Inc., a team, again, relatively new to the league, to be using C4s. I love it. C4s are typically underutilized by teams potentially under the gold rank. Maverick finally, with patience and diligence, catches out one. Maybe the smoke drawing Serenity's attention a bit. But they do catch the kill. Cat goes down, and now Pyro is alone covering this objective, and that's essentially the last thing you want to be. You do not want to be alone here covering the bottom floor only. You have to watch the outside. What a great time swing, but there's so many attackers there, and actually the trade ends with both of them dying, and Legacy with 2 left alive take their Marsoc round in kind. A quick answer back to what was a good start for Murdr Inc. Again, certainly exciting gameplay, quick pace, 2 minutes left on the clock on a downfall round. Surprising to see, but I guess not from Legacy, because they have sort of been setting that pace throughout the course of the series so far. I see a couple of new follows have come through. We appreciate all you fine new folk coming in and hanging out, enjoying the VRML. We like to do these broadcasts frequently and often with a variety of people to bring you gameplay action like Nomad or Jamie or myself or Identity Crisis or Grenade Magnet. A great host of folks out there that love casting and providing you with quality VRML action. So do be sure to follow this channel, follow the other channels as well, Onward_VRML 2 and 3. And you can be tuned in on all of the Onward VRML action that does come your way. Also, I'd recommend heading over to the Twitter, following the social media, the links, going to Twitter, Onward_VRML on Twitter is what you're going to want to look for. That'll give you all of the notifications on when games are going live and on what channels with who. So, that's going to be probably your best way to stay up to date. Obviously, also following the channels is going to give you notifications on when games go live, so be sure to do that as well. Does look like there's a bit of a connection issue there for Murdr Inc., and so round 3 won't quite start just yet. A brief tech hiccup, but we do change objective positions, opposite side of the map. We head over to the north now. I would say equally volatile in terms of cap possibility. because you can cap just like you could from that last objective from the inside of this building and the outside. And that means you have to cover this building with 360 degrees of coverage. And if you don't, you're in very dire straits because there's opportunities to cap, again, inside with cover. So a moment maybe for Legacy, a path for Legacy to exploit if they can get through this Murdr Inc. defense. But both teams, again, playing pretty good here in Murdr Inc. Showing that even though they're a little less experienced, they are very much deserving of this Week 3 matchup. No easy rounds really coming in today. It's really forcing Legacy, again, to stay focused to get these round Ws. Any lapse in that focus in Murdr Inc. are scooping up points. I think now we are going in for round 3. No, not yet. Still waiting for round 3. Figure out what the holdup is here. Some sort of tech issue on Murdr Inc.'s side between Pyro and Rico. Hopefully they can sort that out. Pyro, again, the lead killer so far for this Murdr Inc. squad, but there is a time limit between rounds, so unless it's a technical problem, not necessarily allowed to extend the round, the time between rounds, unless you take a tactical timeout, which could be the case, but I haven't been messaged about any such thing. We'll see if I do get any info from the players, but it could be a timeout. This stage very well it could be required to be a timeout, to say the least. You only get 2 timeouts per series. I think it could be per map. I don't think it's per map because people would use timeouts more. Pretty sure it's per series. At which point you do have to play through any kind of tech issues within the restraints of the round timers. Obviously, teams can extend those if agreed upon, which could very well be the case right now as Legacy allow Murdr Inc. to hopefully solve their technical issues. But still waiting on Pyro and Rico to up. All right, cut to a brief intermission, and we come back to it for round number 3 on map 1 or map 2.
Yeah, I need 32 smokes.
If I ran.
Back from our break.
Right on the spot where you had to go.
Still not sure if that was a timeout, but I'm going to count it as one in my books. We go back to it, Murdr Inc.
Yep, they're right
We go out on a big cross out on the open. Snakebite does identify that as they tuck in. That's going to be a call out to the team on this spawn, and you're going to see Sickness apply pressure off of that information. They're going to look for kills on this corner up through the middle, but no one's quite there yet. Rico does get Snakebite from that 3-story, a nice pickup, and Murdr Inc. continue their push forward with smokes to deny some vision from Sickness, but not all.
Before.
Palm Tree's actually providing him cover from Rico on that 3rd story. Serenity, though, not going to have cover from Sickness, and that's going to be 2 kills to finally Sickness is 1. They go down. Very solid job from Sickness, though, to push up there. Use that information radioed in by Snakebite on the location and apply the pressure accordingly. Now, I'm assuming Snakebite radioed it in. Of course, have no way of telling, but I imagine that as soon as those shots came in, it was almost a given. Probably didn't even need to radio it. Sickness knew that that was the spawn. Everybody knew. Either way, we're into a 3v3. Maverick and Mayhow on objective. And the rest of Murdr Inc. loosely spread on the north side. Very big disconnect here. You can see on the overhead one way in the deep south. An opportunity, perhaps, for Murdr Inc. if they can get rid of Mayhow and Maverick. Cat goes under Maverick's detection there. They are going to get an opportunity to swing round the back here. Wonder if they could go silently all the way up to objective, actually. You do see Mayhow taking a look at it, so that wouldn't quite work out. Best route is going to be, though, to go silently up this ramp. Have the back of Mayhow there. Very much unready for this rotation. Maverick also doesn't have an eye onto this ramp, so as long as Cat stays silent, capital S, and Mayhow may have a tough time here. Cat now especially knows Mayhow's there. They heard that mountain creaking and those gunshots. Call out as well, the footsteps, everything for Cat here is information. And something happened in real life. Oh no. A dog or someone. Oh, they had it. Could have had the kill. Could have had the knife to the back of Mayhow and then walked for the cap, but not in the cards. Sometimes the real world collides with the virtual. Can't quite keep it out. Oh, an unfortunate way to die, but that is how it goes sometimes. It almost seemed like maybe a dog had come up for some pets and gotten into the play space, disrupted the tracking. Seen it. Never on stream, but I know it happens. Talking to get scooped up by scientists here. Legacy have themselves a defensive round. That very deep south defender does connect with one, and it'll work from the Legacy squad to prevent Murdr Inc. from pushing forward. See what the what chat's thoughts are on what the disruption could have been. It looked like they may have been getting asked it sounded like they were getting asked a question, because I thought I heard a what? You know, like they said what? You know, tried to whisper it, but at that point, once even the shifting of the headset that caused a little bit of noise was enough to key them in to go for that kill. And like I said, silent with a capital S is what they needed there, and they did not have it. Wow, what a way to die. Now Legacy looking at a cap opportunity and the series. I'd be shocked if they didn't try and go for a cap attempt here. But of course, if it doesn't present itself, then fairly worth the risk. So we'll have to see what the setup looks like. How Murdr Inc. decide to defend after could have been a solid Marsoc round. And it's all about the mental battles of a game like this, where you really do have to, again, be able to stay focused, bounce back from no kills, not try and do too much, but do enough to be effective. And I suppose that's the challenge of competing in any sport at a high level. These players are facing right now in this moment. They are very much contenders for this series right now, as Murdr Inc. have taken 2 on Suburbia. They've been hanging in very close on Downfall here. They scooped up 1 already. They now go on the defense, and we very well could be trading Volk rounds here on Downfall. Although I say that right after we've had 2 Marsoc rounds, but this objective we could be trading Volk rounds on Downfall. We'll have to see. Pyrobone 6-2. Off of that 5-0 start, has managed to put 1 more kill on the board. But that's sometimes even harder to perform well with if you've come out and had a good start to then keep that momentum going. It's the challenges of the game. Getting a very late response to my question on that timeout last round, but I guess we will see if that was an official timeout or not. But I guess I'll find out the story. Not response. Information on what that holdup could have been, if maybe it was a audio or technical issue. Either way, though, Murdr Inc. very much has to be ready for the cap attempt to come in here. Takes a bit of time to properly set up for it, but this objective is hard to defend if the offense effectively attacks the objective in unison. Smoke's coming in from Murdr Inc. now to go back into the action, and it seems like there is some conversations going on with between the teams during that off time, and some conversations here going on between the teams with their guns. So many dead so fast. Mad Scientist dumps rounds through the smoke and gets a 3rd kill onto the Murdr Inc. defense. Legacy are left with 3 after the absolute brawl out of spawn. Trying to find the 3rd. It's Sickness, who is over on the north. And so all 3 still essentially trapped up on the hilltop. And unlikely to have an accurate kill count because they did find a kill through smoke. Let's see how Sickness decides to approach this. Could see a similar sort of outcome here. Sickness can work their way down the hill, silent but deadly, and get themselves up to this doorway. Challenge Serenity, win that kill, and then push up to the objective, all without Cat moving from their spot. And maybe a cap could come through. Alternatively, at this stage, a player could stealth walk in bottom floor from the south with no contention whatsoever at all. But All three are up here in the north, and no one seems to be intending to rotate to the south, so it is going to be the hard way for the Legacy offense.
In 5 seconds, I need suppression on the second floor of Heli 2-story window, and also north bungalow, the north-facing windows. In 5 seconds, okay? Both windows, make it happen. Right, I'm good.
That suppressive fire does come in, and Sickness does rotate a little bit farther than maybe I was anticipating. Not going to challenge Serenity, at least close quarters. Could find an angle through the doorway along this path, though. And if they do take this route, they are going to very likely have to shoot at Serenity. I don't think they're going to be able to make Ross without getting rid of them. Oh, Sickness does pass Serenity. Now, truly, this is where Sickness wants to be. The approach from this side could net them the cap. Sickness could get underneath Cat right here. Especially if Scientist and Maverick draw the attention of this duo. Cat needs to be effectively distracted by Mad Scientist, and if Scientist can put that pressure onto Cat, draw the attention of them, put some catnip out on the table. Maybe Sickness can find a point or two here. Cat doesn't see Sickness, and that's the patience don't really see from a lot of other team players in general in the game. They want the cap. They know what they're out for. And at this stage, it seems that Cat also seems to be aware of a potential threat from this side. Serenity hasn't had eyes on this ramp, though. Right now, Sickness is an easy scoop for Serenity if they pop out the window. Sickness has limited time before that happens. But they also can't move faster than they are. Have to stay silent. Do get underneath Cat. Oh, they made a bit of a footstep, though. Here comes the tablet. Cat should hear this. They're not going to fly off the edge, though. They checked their tablet to see, is this somebody? And nope, they don't see it. Sickness with patience, avoiding the kills, staying fully silent until they get to the objective, navigates in and around the Murdr Inc. defense for a cap underneath the nose of a Cat that could not catch the mouse. Incorrect score line there from me. And that's the series. We do play out map 3. Legacy get to pick where we go for map 3. And if I were a gambling man, I would say we're headed to a bit of some close quarters. Could be that I'm wrong, though. Get some practice on something like, I was going to say Abandon, but that's off the table. Dare I say Snow Peak. Cargo also on the list, but at this stage, why take the risk of a cargo series unless you're very confident that you can outperform Murdr Inc. there. You know, cargo, especially with newer teams, is a risk. Most players, when they get involved into the game, start to play, kind of start on cargo, my experience. Because it's close quarters, because it's faster spawns, faster rounds, the pacing is a little bit more what people are used to in a shooter. Eventually, they get used to the idea of the game and the longer range maps and the style of a military simulator shooter. But I feel that most new players kind of cut their teeth on maps like Suburbia and Cargo. So maybe that's why we saw Murdr Inc. performing well enough on Suburbia to contend against a team like Legacy. Cargo, again, would have been an opportunity for Murdr Inc. to potentially scoop up a couple more rounds, but Quarantine is definitely a challenge. Quarantine is a space that this team Legacy is very familiar with. At the very least, their team captain is very familiar with. This map's been around since the inception of the game, much as Sickness has been around since the inception of the game, and so that knowledge very likely to come into play on a map like this with over 13 objective spawns. There's a tremendous amount of tactical variety in a team's playbook on a map like Quarantine. I mean, just to know 13 defensive positions is a lot. But I very much imagine we'll see that come out from both squads here this afternoon. And obviously not all 13. You can only play 4 objectives. 3, 4. Maximum of 4 objectives if you play down all the rounds without caps. But yeah, still doing the math. But what that does mean is you're not going to get all 13. So on top of having to be prepared for 13, there's just no chance that you're going to even play all of those. So you really don't even know where you're going either, unlike somewhere like Snow Peak. Snow Peak actually has only 5 objective spawns on that map. So when you go to Snow Peak, you can almost know what you're going to get into, especially if you go the distance in rounds. There's, I guess, some consistency there, but Snow Peak has the variety in terms of long-range close quarters, depending on where the objective spaceman is. But that's beside the point. Quarantine, I feel very much like Snow Peak, albeit with a handful more of objectives. I guess double the amount of objectives, and
Don't be frustrated, Cat.
have to see how Murdr Inc. plays out here on Quarantine. You hear there Rocky trying to motivate Cat. Cat obviously expressing frustration in the chat there after letting that cap go out underneath their whiskers, but it's all right. Like Rocky said, it's not the end of the world. It's only week 3 too, and again, Murdr Inc. definitely have a lot to take away as positives from this. As Pyro comes out swinging with some aggressive plays, Sickness is going to counter as Mad Scientist and Maverick find kills as well. And Sickness full sprinting to objective here. It's almost getting team killed on the backside, and is anybody going to ID this push up to objective? Does Serenity even see Sickness here on objective? As the tablet comes out, Maverick and Mayow catch kills over the top, and I mean, it doesn't get worse for it can't get worse for Cat. I feel bad for Cat at this point, because that one definitely not their fault by any stretch of the means there. That was just a confident bit of Legacy. And overconfidence maybe from Murdr Inc. Pyro certainly came out strong, got 1 kill early, couldn't net the second, but then everything kind of collapsed. They lost their 3-story, they lost their ditch coverage because I think they overextended a bit past that rubble. And then obviously it's kind of a free sprint there up through that ravine, and you know, Sickness not even worrying about the defenders around him, literally getting bullets shot over their shoulders to protect Sickness as they push to the objective. I mean, that is plain and simple good coordinated Legacy gameplay, and that's what, again, I expected to see in this series, and we got it. I mean, again, if you're to Cat, do not feel bad on that one. That was just good, solid, aggressive plays, connecting on all of their shots, and, well, on their map pick, starting things off nicely 2-0. Murdr Inc. now with their opportunity on the attack, Sickness and team on the defense.
I didn't see him either. I had half the numbers in before you even shot him.
And you know, one thing we've seen this afternoon,
good day for Onward.
really just in general so far in these early weeks, is a lot of teams struggling with capping. Not something you're going to see from this team, especially with Sickness. You can see that, you hear him say they had half the numbers punched in before those shots were taken. They had very limited time to do that, so it's a very good skill to practice to be able to punch that code in quick. Spawn gets identified, so now Legacy are trying to surround this Murdr Inc. offense, but it's a matter of Murdr Inc. playing aggressive out of this spawn and not allowing themselves to get trapped here. Oh! It doesn't get worse for Cat. It literally doesn't get... They can't have a more unlucky day, Cat. That's just... you just gotta laugh this one off. That is unfortunate. Team killed in a freak crossing. As now Rico and Rocky realize their predicaments that they're in with nades, utility, all kinds of suppressive fire. Definitely a challenge for them to hold on to their lives here. Mad Scientist going on a wild flank. Going deep, going way around, but sprinting to avoid audio here. And almost catches the ankles of Rico through the gap in the fence, but can't quite. Rico tries to get some utility out, but Scientist is going to continue to apply the pressure. Rico has fortunately tucked in to the tight corner, but not Rocky. Scientist does catch another, maybe not even the intended target, as Rico waits for Mad Scientist to continue their push.
One more now.
Oh, snake bite finds Rico through the hole in the wall, and Legacy at this point have this one in the bag. Momentum very much in their favor, and Murdr Inc. having a tough time battling this kind of aggression with Legacy and their map knowledge here. Really suffocating that south spawn as soon as they identified it, and it's making it tough for Murdr Inc. to get into his place where they could get comfortable, where they could have cover. Maybe smokes and utility could have gone some ways there to get them into position, but not necessarily the case here this afternoon, and Legacy now looking at an opportunity to take this one in full force, 12-3 if they can nab this next MARSOC round. I wonder if they're going to think about capping this as well, because with this next objective, it is certainly cappable, especially if a team is not kind of ready for that stare MARSOC aggressive flash smoke push. There really could be a very fast objective cap here, but let's see what Legacy deploy. Either way, a exciting series here this afternoon, and Legacy really just stepping it up in the back half of these rounds. Certainly some hard-fought ones there at the start of Downfall, but since then it's just been momentum into their hands, and they have been riding with it. Maybe a note to teams looking to go up against Legacy that they're not afraid to, you know, take that aggression and run with it. So back into the action we go.
Where's
Serenity at? Oh, Serenity, come on, you okay. Everything's gonna be alright, girl. Everything's gonna be alright.
I'm gonna cry.
Again, I really did think that Murdr Inc. came out here and performed far above my expectations against, again, a team that is very good. This is their first test, I think, as a squad, you know, sitting in silver in Season 12 with 6 games in their pocket. They're going up against a diamond team here, very much deserving of that diamond rank, and they've got a couple of rounds. I think that is something to be pretty proud of, as Pyro goes down twice. The Snakebite and Mayhow. Does get one, though, for their troubles, and oh, another goes down. Maverick finds Rico through the 2-story. Very deep shot there. Rico getting a little aggressive on the peeking there on that second floor. See how Cat and Rocky hold up.
Ain't nobody on the uplink.
But for now, we do have good coverage of the objective. We are monitoring for that cap. Bombs coming in. The smokes starting to come through here. Brandy very much in an aggressive defensive position. Not going to identify Maverick crossing. Cat should hear the footsteps on the other side of the rock. That flash doesn't quite go far enough, and it's actually made. Maverick, after hearing that, a little question mark popped up over their head, like, or an exclamation point might as well have popped up like in Metal Gear. Serenity with a great drop shot on the Sickness shuts down that aggression to the objective. Murdr Inc. maybe able to put one on the board here. On this, their map pick, Serenity trades down with another on objective. Cat looking to swing around, potentially behind Maverick. Could turn this into a 2v1. That is a big swing, though, and they're not going to push that far out of position. They do have eyes on the objective, which are important to maintain. That's going to be, again, an exclamation point for Maverick, but not a big enough one, as Cat does finally take that corner, catches the kill, and it's all up to Mayhow. Actually, I wonder, there's something for Mayhow to do here. Mayhow maybe could prone. Yeah. Mayhow could prone out to the objective. They got 3 minutes. One smoke is all they need to deny vision from Rocky. And that stair cap is pretty easy to secure. Actually, may even be able to get it without actually, yeah, they can get it on the other side of the wall. So, lessons learned for Murdr Inc. And there's no better way to learn than to have it happen against you, as Mayhow finds another cap, and Legacy take map 5 in full force. An exciting series for the most part, but ultimately Legacy get warmed up, they find their groove, and they manage to take the victory 13-3. A little adding insult to injury with that 5-pointer on map 3, but great series from them. And again, Legacy is a team to watch as a contender for Season 13 champions. So again, if you're Murdr Inc., do not feel bad looking back on the VOD. I feel like you did great up against a team that I do think has a shot at taking Season 13 title. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see what we get as we go through the rest of this regular season. Regardless, a fun set of rounds to tune into. And I'm happy that I did catch them and send them out to you fine folk on this Friday night. That'll be it for us, though. For me, just me. On the casting desk, for us, fine folk. On the casting desk. And my name's Ben, NightFiree with 2 E's. Until next time, stay classy.